Hey Trae, I'm curious, year two of this NBA Cup experience, you've got a lot of young guys on the squad. I'm just curious, what your perspective is. Do you feel like having these games that matter a little bit more are, more helpful for, a team like yours that has so many young guys that are learning?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this team has been embracing the challenge each and every night from the beginning of the season. We haven't looked too far ahead in any moment, and we're just taking it day by day, even though early on in the season we may have had some struggles and some bumps in the road and some guys out. We stuck with the process and focused on each day, and I feel like this cup we've shown we've done the same thing and not look too far ahead and just focus on the next opponent.
Next row, Tim.
Trae, I think you're averaging 21 and 12, something only Magic and Isaiah have done over the course of a season. I'm curious, do you see like a maturation in your game? Like the numbers suggest you're shooting less, distributing more. Obviously, you guys are much better, like all teams are, when the ball moves and all those things. Like, where is your game growing? Where are you critical with yourself? Where have you said over the last couple of years, I got to do this to make myself better, make the team better?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I've always said since day one, like I've always been able to adjust to whatever team I've been around or been a part of, or what the coach wants from me. Like I've always been able to adjust. So the narrative about me not being able to do certain things or being too mad or frustrated about certain things is, I mean, just aren't true. And so like I think you're just now being able to see like with the young team we have and just some of the different things that we've been doing this year. I think just now you're starting to kind of see it because the results are showing, and we're winning now, and we're here in this Final Four of the Cup, and it's a big deal. So I think that's why you're seeing it and understanding it. But for me, I've always been this way. Like I've been this way since high school, and I played with the #1 player in my class. Like I wasn't the best player on my team, and I was okay with it. Like it was just I was able to adjust, and I learned, and I was able to feed and eat off that, and I learned back then that when you win, everything else takes care of itself, and it's kind of what's happening right now.
Next row back, on the aisle.
Trae, you've pulled off as a team some big wins just to get to this stage of the competition. How do you assess both yourselves and your opponents tomorrow, Milwaukee, in the bigger Eastern Conference race?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely play some really tough teams to get here, and I think that's like what I said. We just really focused on the next opponent, and from Boston when I didn't even play, everybody went out there and they played their tails off and found a way to get a win, and then we just kept playing and building each and every game and just focusing on the next opponent. And yeah, now we got the Bucks, and obviously they're a great team, 2 future Hall of Famers that you got to be ready for. So we know it's not going to be an easy task, but we're definitely up for the challenge, and we'll be ready.
Lauren, back right.
Hey Trae, we talked about Jaylen and his playmaking before, but how else have you noticed him maybe making his presence known, not necessarily on the court, but maybe in between whistles or timeouts or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more you play, the more experience you have, the more you feel your voice can be heard, and people around you will listen to you when you speak up. And I feel like that's, I mean, what you see in Jaylen each and every game more and more. The more experience he has, and he's continuing to have success throughout the start of the season. I mean, you're just going to continue to see him talk more and give more advice, and us on the team, we're going to continue to hear his voice more and more. The more he gets opportunities and situations, and he's playing more. So it's good that he's getting to see some more action this year, and he's helping our team obviously a lot.
Trae, second row on your left.
Hi, Trae. Your pick and roll game has been exceptional this season, as you said, 12 assists. And so what are you necessarily looking for in the pick and roll, specifically this season, that has changed?
Yeah, I mean, great question. I feel like for me, it's not like a season-by-season thing on what I change and look at. I mean, it's really a night-by-night thing on what the defense brings and what type of defense they're in, whether they're in a drop coverage or whether they're trapping me off the screen. I'd struggle a lot having with turnovers sometimes, and a lot of it comes in the beginning of the games when I'm trying to figure out what kind of defense they're in and things like that. So that's something I can be better at, and I'll be better at that going forward. But that's what it's more of a nightly basis thing. If they're in a drop coverage, if they're blitzing me, if they're hedging, things like that. That's kind of what I look at in pick and roll.
Joe, here in the center.
Hey, Trae. You have the rivalry with Madison Square Garden that is fun, and it goes back to 21. Now you're playing the Bucks, who also in 21 you had the really contested conference finals. I know it's different, but do you harbor, I guess, some of those memories, or just some of the same passion, when you're thinking about the Bucks and thinking about what happened a couple years ago, kind of like what we saw for you in New York?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't let past things like really like make me mad or things like that. Hold a grudge on those things. Like, I'm not like, yeah, I'm young, but I'm not super young anymore where I like let those things really affect me. I just, even with New York, it's like I wasn't coming out the gates taunting or doing anything like that. Like, it's, again, they started to chant later in the game, you know what I'm saying? So I come in, I always try to just play and have fun and put on a show. Like, and with the Bucks, like, yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, me stepping on Sean's foot. Hurt my foot, and it definitely hurts. But I mean, this is a new team. I'm part of a new team. They're a different team, so I can't let my past like affect my mental and focus on right now, because this is a totally different team, and I'm at a totally different place right now.
Last question right here in the front.
Hey, what up, bro? Good
Man.
seeing you, my dog. First off, wanted to, first give you your flowers, bro. You're doing really well this season. But two, wanted to talk to you about, especially in this era, a lot of kids don't play anymore. I saw you and Kev have probably been to every open gym in LA that I could think of imaginable. And you just playing, just making sure you play and then sharpening your talent and skill. But then also, wanted to ask you about the nutmeg. We're gonna start calling that the Trae way going forward, because you hit someone with like a drop dribble, you put it between his legs, and then after that, I think Matt showed me a video. You did a double nutmeg. I ain't never seen that in my life, to be honest with you. But talk about that move, and then, for the kids out there playing and being in every open gym, and how that helps you get your game better.
Yeah, I mean, the nutmeg is like that's something I've been doing since high school. Like, I always like watched CP when he was with the Hornets and things like that when I was young, and I would always see him nutmeg guys, nutmeg big men, and I started doing it in high school games and transition and throwing between guys' legs. And so, yeah, I don't know if we need to call it the Trae way, but I do it a lot, and I learned from the guys above me. And it's same with like hooping and playing. Like, KD, played a lot of games in OKC, you know what I'm saying? When I was in middle school, like, I was always watching them, and when they went to the finals, all those things. So I've had some really great role models that I can look up to from afar and kind of steal bits and pieces from their games, and not just K, but a lot of players. But him specifically, like, he plays a lot of basketball and runs, and from what I've heard and what I listen to, it's just from just conversations with him too. It's like you learn from playing. Like you get in shape by playing too. So it's like that's something that we can stay in shape and still get better at the same time. So that's kind of why I play and never stop playing until the summer starts.
Thank you, Trae. Jay,
Got you.